Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Farming Simulator 22, as we continue our Start From Scratch tribute run here. And we're just finishing up doing some weeding on this field over here. And then we'll be done with the weeding. That will be it. Nice little tractor. Nothing that we need right now. Still, I'm guessing a lot of contracts over here. Yeah, there's a lot of contracts. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't actually close to my bedtime, I got to get up for work in the morning. I might have actually let those run for a bit before I recorded the second episode, but no, I'm not going to do that now. All right, I think that is everything. No weeds, no weeds, no weeds, no weeds. Looks good. I'm gonna hold on to this thing. It's gonna cost us money. Don't get me wrong. It's a, it's a learning expense, I suppose. Because if we need it, I'm gonna be glad that I didn't just return it, because then we have it over here all ready to go. If we don't need it, well, then it's some extra money that we didn't need to spend. But yeah, I'm just gonna hold on to it for right now. It will be okay. All right. Next month, like I said, we can sell the soybeans. I mean, I can check the price right now. It's getting up there, getting pretty close to being good. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else for us to do today, right? Next harvest will be, well, cotton will be November, soybeans will be October. So we got a couple months to wait. All right, start digging for the soybeans, I'm guessing. $13.46. That's a pretty good price. So nitrogen still says perfect. Nitrogen still says perfect. Now it is interesting that perfect here is 120 kilograms per hectare, and over here it's like 10 to 20. That's a pretty big difference. Apparently, soybeans does not need much fertilizer, which is kind of fascinating if you ask me. Yeah, I mean, I still don't like the fact that with the nitrogen we're not getting good score for it, though. What is going on with that? We got a perfect score for weed control, soil sampling, and tillage. But we do not have a perfect score for pH, which I guess that makes some sense because I'm sure the lime probably started to dissipate a little bit, maybe. It's always possible. And then when we have nitrogen, we are just not getting like any score for nitrogen. Why? What is going on? And our expected yield is only 92%. Like, I'm a little frustrated that I'm not sure if I'm understanding what's going on. I'm going to try and run some fertilizer over it again, just real quick, just to see what happens. Target reached. Like, if I turn it on right now, it's not going to do anything. If I turn this back on, it's not going to do anything. What if I just deactivate automatic application rate? Now we're getting too much, which might actually be hurting us. There's like a little stretch there that's got a little bit more than it probably should have, but I don't know. I'm genuinely at a loss for... That's not what I wanted. I'm trying to jump over here. What we're supposed to be doing here. Yeah, this is a little bit higher. Does not change the expected yield at all. Now, if we got good expected yield over here... Now, is that just because it's the... Is that the sandy loam? Okay, so that's the sandy loam. The sandy loam is not as good. Okay, that makes a little more sense. But still, I don't know why we're not getting full credit for the score. Like, that's annoying. If we're at the nitrogen levels that we're supposed to be at, we should get full credit, in my opinion. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. Let's just fast forward till we get a perfect price for these soybeans. The used equipment we care about. Big old beastie boy. It's just called four-wheel drive. Oh wow, another one. 1364. Definitely should get above 1400, which is awesome. Because I can zip over to the train station. Be ready. $13.98. I mean, we're only going to get, what, 5%? Or did we get it higher? We got 8%. We're still just not... That's annoying, though, because we have done the fertilizer. I will dump the entire tank of fertilizer on the field if that'll give me the credit. But we've done the fertilizer as much as it'll let us. And we're missing out on that 15%, score because the nitrogen still says it's wrong, which does not make any sense to me. Still stuff to learn, but we'll get there. Might get dark on us here, but I'm going to let this go. There it goes. All right. Oh, that's the wrong button. That's what happens when you hit your... Oh, let me select you. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. I was like, why can't I visit? I'm hitting the wrong map. Rent to the train. But yeah, so... Because we should be getting close to 15% right now. I mean, honestly, I think we should be getting 50% right now. Because I did the lime, and I've done the fertilizer, and I've done everything else. We should have a perfect score right now. I should be getting full 15% for this crop that we're about to drop off. And then we're not. And that is... It's frustrating. And this doesn't even show the pattern. Like... You know what? I'm going to return you for a second. I'm going to try to go over the soybeans again. Yeah, we paid $10 for the vehicle. Whoop-de-doo. Maybe it wasn't high enough before? I don't know. It's annoying me that that's that bright red without actually, looking like the field. I would think that it would look a little more like the field. But maybe it's just such a low amount that it doesn't register, that and maybe that's okay. Like I said, so we got activated automatics on. We're going to turn on the crop sensors on, and we're going to turn on the sprayer. And then it just goes away. I am confused. All right, well, let's check this instructions for it real quick. And then I'll just sell the stuff and move on. Nitrogen. Optimal level depends on the plant crop and the soil type. Makes sense. We can look at the field info value by walking on the field, which we've done. And it says perfect. Don't get me wrong. Actually, it says the target is 0. Is it because there's too much fertilizer here that I didn't actually do myself. It just was here already. What is this? This over says 120. It is over fertilized. You don't fertilize soybeans? Really? Okay. Slurry or manure will increase the nitrogen level by a fixed value depending on the soil type. It is recommended to do this before preparing the field for the next sowing. That's interesting. Mineral and liquid fertilizer adjusts the nitrogen level automatically to the crop requirements if the crop is already planted. This should be done within the first growth states after sowing the crop. So slurry manure you do before, mineral and liquid fertilizer you do after. Makes sense? I mean, it's different than what I've done, but it makes sense. Yeah, I guess there's just too much here, which is that why we're getting a lower score? Because we have two, but it says it's perfect. That's the thing. I get that it's more than it needs. Maybe it only needs a 0, but it does actually say perfect when I hover over it. But are these the fields that are giving us, well, wrong one. Are these the fields that are giving us the lowest value? No, these are actually fields that are giving us a good value. We're getting 83 for this field, but that's mostly because of pH. The nitrogen is pretty low. We're getting 0. That's the problem here. Field 50 here says we're getting a 0 value for nitrogen and a 64 score. Same for this one, 0 value for nitrogen. I don't understand. It's very frustrating. And if this all didn't say perfect over here, I'd be quite a bit more concerned, but it says it's perfect. Oh well, I guess I'm wasting enough time. I realize we're about to sell crop. If I wasn't about to sell crop, I would just fast forward another day and we'd move on. But we're about to sell, some crop, and I'm like, I want to get my 15%, or at least close to it. Oh well. Let's go. Don't need that. Let's go visit again, and then we'll get this done. Oh, trains are actually already there. Come on, go. Visit. Rent. Just in time. Oh, I got an extra $3,000. It's something. Could have been more, but it's something. All right. I mean, do we hold on to the fertilizer longer? I just don't. I don't know. Are we expecting this to? It said during the first stage, right? We're past the first stage, so I would assume that we're not going to get any other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the thing. And yeah, that's fine. It will be okay. All right, so that's all of our crop. How's our production looking right now? Cotton's still rolling with it. The fabric's still rolling with the cotton that it's got. The clothes are still looking okay. Still waiting on fabric, mostly. Yeah. Guess nothing to do but let's get that along. Now it's down to 0. Wow, in some places. So strange. Yeah, I really don't understand that. And I'm guessing this is still perfect. Yeah, okay. Maybe it doesn't pull it up out of the soil then. I don't know what that device actually does then. Um, Still getting a terrible score for that, which is awesome. Maybe when we do another round of crops, it'll go up a little bit higher or something. Who knows? We're looking for October. Yes. Yes. Let's pay off some of the loan. Any used equipment we care about? Nothing. All right. Well, I think there's nothing else to do except zip along until time to harvest again. Could be doing contracts, but again, I want to be at this point where we are just using our fields for money, if at all possible. And I think we were basically there. We just had to do all this extra stuff that was not expecting right away. Still perfect. What about you? Still perfect. Cool. All right. Well, perfect is, well, perfect, I guess. Still only at 77. Still the cotton fields that are sad. That just may be the way it is, I guess. Nothing here that we want. Anything else we need to do? I don't think so. 2 more months and we can harvest. Do we have the money to harvest? I think we do, right? Perfect. Still perfect. I mean, it's a nice planter. Don't get me wrong. We can't afford it, but it would be all of our stuff that we would need, right? But nah, we can't afford that. And it doesn't do the cultivating anyway, so it wouldn't be right for us. Huh. Interesting. And the trailer's not useful for us at the moment. No, I think we're good. We are good. Double check this one more time because I know one of these days, if I don't check it, I'm going to forget and actually skip past the time that we needed to harvest. Next month is soybeans. Get us our John Deere tractor and start harvesting. You're still perfect. You are ready to harvest. Should be decent yield if I'm reading this right. 115%. Now, here's the question. When before precision farming, you had crop. You had, you plant crop, you get, let's say 1,000 liters, whatever. And that's if you had 0% increase to the yield. Like if you've done nothing, you haven't done fertilizing, nothing else, you still get crop. You're not going to not get anything. So you get crop, you get, let's say 1,000 liters. Then as you add on to all those bonuses, each one, in fact, we have, this is the old one. Now this is not accurate anymore, right? I'll have to go look up and see if there's a new accurate one. Obviously once you add the fertilizer twice, you add the weeding, the lime, all that stuff, that adds up to, 100% once you do it all. And that gives you your 2,000 liters, right? So instead of 1,000 liters, you get 2,000 liters. When it says expected yield is 115%, does that mean, going back to that 1,000 liter kind of baseline, does that mean we get 1,150 liters now? Or is that 1,150 more liters than the baseline 1,000 and we would get 2,150 at that point? That is a extremely good question. And I think the best way to figure that answer out would be to remind myself how much crop we got pre all of this. Let's go get our harvester headed over here. Hey, look, JCB. So we need the harvester. Oh, we need money first. We can have enough for both harvesters. It's actually going to be a little bit tight, I think. Well, we already have one of the seeders, so we don't have to worry about that at least. And then I need the header. All right, let's get you headed over and go from there. Definitely go very low on money overall. And again, I know, contracts, etc. Going back to the same thing I said earlier, if I was going to be on for a little bit longer tonight, I would probably knock out a few contracts, but I don't. I want to get this done and move on. Hey, I just realized there's new billboards. That's kind of cool. I'm going to give us a little bit of a header on this side of things first, which I don't normally do, but I just realized it's a good enough angle to get this started. All right, I'm going to be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about leaving that screen on there for while I was driving the tractor, but oh well. So it's 1821 per acre default. Before all this stuff, right? 1821 per acre. And now we're at 1821 times 3.75 acres for this field, if that's accurate. That's 6,828 baseline. Then once we add the, extra double, or I guess we were going 98%, but we'll just double it just because that's what you could have done. Then that'd be 13,657.50. So 13,657 liters. I should have started with this field, shouldn't I? Don't have an easy way to sneak over there and do that instead. Actually, I may just stop this field, go unload it real quick, and then start the new one. Because, and the reason that would work is because if it's only 115% over the baseline, then we'd only get like 8,000 liters. And this harvester can hold, I think, what, 10,000? So if it doesn't fill up the harvester, then we'll know that that's not good, right? Almost turned the wrong direction. That could have been disastrous. Now the yield coloring down there on the bottom left does look darker in a few of these places than it did last cycle, right? Because we're seeing the yield from last cycle initially, and it does look. I mean, the middle section looks maybe a little bit lighter in some spots, but the outer sections definitely look darker. To me, that tells me we got a little more yield there. Can we reach over that trailer? I think we maybe just barely can. Oh, other than the fact that it's too low. All right, we'll make it work. Come back here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this field done. Just because we're getting close to the end of the time. We're actually at normal end of time. But I'm going to get this field done, and then I will come back and give you guys the results of kind of where we're at, and we'll go from there. All right, we are back, and just about finished with this field. But as you can already see, I've just dumped the first full 10,000. So there's 10,000 from this field already in the trailer, and we are, you know, approaching about another 1,500 or so here. So the best we could possibly have gotten pre TLC was around 13,657, right? That's with 200% increased yields. The best we can get now appears to be right at, like I said, almost 11,000, just shy of 11,500, right? Now, here's the thing. Not all of this field is perfect soil. And so I think that's definitely coming into play for sure, right? So you can see the yields here. Over here, we're getting, you know, 100, 120, 125%. Down this line, we're getting about 100, 105%. And over here, for half of this field almost, we're only getting like 85% yields. And yet the total still came pretty close to our 200% yields from before. So what that tells me is that if this entire field was 125%, in fact, I think this field's going to be even higher than what we would normally get because it's a really good field. But if this field was entirely, for example, loam, if we come over here, loam is the best soil for all crops. Sandy loam is, I think, second best, and then I'm actually not sure if it's silty clay. It probably is the loamy sand over here. This third best, but still not that great. Silty clay is pretty bad. That's my guess. And then that's all we have. So those are the four field taps. Thankfully, this one has some sandy loam and some loam to make up for that that silty clay. But the point I'm getting at is that if this whole thing was this gray stuff, the loam, then I actually think we would get more than pre-patch. But because this field is having to balance out half of it, you know, being not so great, you know, a third of it maybe being really good, and the stuff down the middle being probably about average, we're actually getting pretty close, very, very close to what we would have gotten pre-patch, just a little bit less because we are on a, you know, somewhat subpar field. So I guess what I'm getting at, I think that tells me that the DLC has the potential to be better than pre-patch, but you got to get the right fields, right? And this field is just not that good in that context. But I do expect we'll get even more crop off that other field than we would have pre-patch, and I think that will be it'll add up to being more total. Probably very likely will be more total soybeans than we would have had anyway. Another thing that I found out, and we're actually going to check that here just now because that field is done, right? The field is completely harvested. Did it update? No, it didn't. Because I'm reading right here. You get 30 points based on nitrogen levels. The score changes depending on fertilization. The maximum score of 30 can only be reached if you use the manure sensor for organic fertilization and the crop sensor, which is what we have, for the mineral fertilization. Over-fertilization will decrease the score, which we expect because that makes sense, because the excessive nitrogen will leach and pollute the groundwater, okay? Under-fertilization also decreases the score because you won't reach full yield potential, so that crop takes less CO2 out of the atmosphere, so that's bad. The nitrogen score, this is the important thing, the nitrogen score will only be updated after the harvest. We just harvested the field. Where's my nitrogen score? Like, what am I missing here? Where's my nitrogen score for this field? We just finished it, and we should have gotten a good score, in my opinion. Still some stuff to learn about this, guys. But looks like the yields are going to be pretty close to being pretty good. I think this cotton yield is going to be actually really good because, I mean, it's a big chunk of loam and then sandy loam, so that's going to be a really, really good field. This one not so much, but I think it'll bounce out pretty decently. Yeah, I don't know, guys. If you guys know something, let me know in the comments below if you already figured something out yourselves. But that is all I have figured out right now. I was expecting this nitrogen score to update for this field because we just finished harvest. It didn't. So we'll see what happens when we plant again next cycle. But that's gonna be it for today. Next episode, we're gonna finish obviously harvesting this field, and of course, moving up to harvest the cotton field next month and kind of go from there. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.